Double kettlebell clean and press should be the basis of an outside of the gym bodybuilding strategy. Double kettlebell clean and press is the easiest way to work every muscle in your body. There are other versions where we will add in squats to this, and then it becomes pretty much a perfect monster lift, a lift with 3 or more primary movements in it. This is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about a double kettlebell exercise, the double kettlebell hang clean squat. People who do barbell will be familiar with an exercise like this. Think of this as the kettlebell equivalent of an Olympic lifting exercise. Barbell setups tend to be relatively expensive because when you start doing something like Olympic lifting, you tend to need a platform because you tend to lose the weight a lot. And if you start dropping several hundred pounds on any type of floor, it tends to start doing damage if the floor has not been specifically designed for it. This exercise is a hang clean where you come to a dead stop in each clean, as opposed to a swing clean. We'll demonstrate both. For the swing clean version, the more kettlebell specific version, we step up to our kettlebells, feet pointed generally straight ahead. 2 kettlebells is about 16 to 18 inches broad, depending on what manufacturer you get them from. There is a little bit of variation in there, but think about 16 inches. Think about 2 fingers distance between the kettlebell and your feet for the most part. Step back from your kettlebell, 12 to 18 inches to get your setup. Thumbs point towards the sky, thumb points back, unless you're an advanced kettlebell athlete. Grab your kettlebells in the corner of the bells. We're going to hike it back, hands all the way up in front. The goal is to not smash your fingers together on the catch. Get your fingers out of the way, wrists flat, elbows together. Squat, get down as low as you can, lean back as far as you can. Stand all the way up, squeeze your glutes at the top. Push the weights back, thumbs point back for a swing clean. Swing, clean, squat, lean back, stand up. Thumbs point back, swing, clean, squat, lean back as far as you can. Try to verticalize your spine. Stand up. When we turn this into the dead clean, instead of pushing the weights back, think about pushing the weights down. This gets a little bit dicey as the kettlebells get heavier. It is a different kettlebell technique. The kettlebells should stop moving. Then you are going to accelerate the weights straight up. Dip, get the kettlebells up, fingers still out of the way. Get all the way down, elbows track inside the knees, lean back. Make your spine as vertical as possible. Stand up, squeeze your glutes, lock out your legs. Stop the kettlebells from moving, lock out. Then start over. Straight down, up, fingers out of the way. Get back, lean back, drive up. Stop the kettlebells from moving, track down, get the weights up, lean back, make your spine as vertical as possible, drive all the way up. Set it down with the swing clean technique. Push it back, track it out in front, leave the weights. The swing clean is relatively fast. You're capturing movement. You're moving the weight forward and back, a curved linear path to the weight. Barbells tend to move in a straight line up and down, and you move your body around the bar. With kettlebells, because you can pass the line of your body, you tend to move the bells around your body. The hang clean, where it's going straight up and straight down, slows you down. It changes the angle at which you are producing force. Instead of back to front hip snap, it goes back to being like a barbell hip snap, which is the kettlebells coming straight up. With something like a barbell, your elbows would be driving up in front. On this, think about your elbows driving in towards the center. We want to make sure we're doing a kettlebell grip, not a barbell grip. With a barbell, the weight has to sit behind your hand. With a kettlebell, you can make your pinky, your wrist, and your elbow a vertical line. Think about squeezing the elbows together at the top. At the bottom of our squat, our elbow position is important. Many people in the beginning will drop their elbows way too far down, rounding their back. Lift the chest up Elbows touch directly on the inside of the knee so that you can lean back away from the weight. The hang clean slows you down. It is one of many, many variations you can do with kettlebells. The great thing about kettlebells is that you can constantly add complexity if you do not have access to more weights. You can learn to endure longer. For the most part, barbell math is very, very different than kettlebell math. Kettlebells, you tend to add volume or time under tension as opposed to adding weight like you do with barbells. Barbells, you can add 5 pounds on each side, 1 pound on each side, and work on your 3 sets of 3 or your Olympic lifting program, which is probably an hour and a half each day. With kettlebells, you can add complexity, you can change the pace, and that alters that time under tension. By slowing it down, you change the rate at which you breathe. You change the demand on the body. If you're using competition adjustable kettlebells, you can microload, which is what most people need. If you have traditional weights, fixed weights, weights that do not change, and they come in 4K jumps, think a 4K jump is 8.8 pounds on each side. If you were to go up 4K with 2 kettlebells, it would be a 17.6 pound jump every time you jumped weights. That means that you alter the volume of your training, not the intensity. So you would do the same number of reps each time or hold the weights for the same amount of time. You would take a break and you would add more sets to the end of training. Today we are going to work on a double kettlebell exercise, the double dead hang clean and press. Kettlebells are great because you can do them anywhere. You do not need a massive expensive gym or gym setup in order to reap the benefits of doing something like barbell. Double kettlebell is treated much like barbell for most people, about 90% of the population. There are some people who treat double kettlebell as a pure strength endurance exercise, but it takes most people a very long time to get to that point. This exercise, the double dead hang clean and press, is a way to slow people down, take more time for each rep when they are working on endurance, and allow them to stay under tension, but slow them down so they're not moving so fast, so that they can breathe, so that they can adapt. Or at least that's how I view this exercise. With our double dead clean, we should start where we always start. Step up to your bells to determine your distance. Oftentimes with barbell, people will turn out. With this exercise, we're going to have our feet generally straight ahead and generally right outside of the line of 2 kettlebells together. Step back from the bells 12 to 18 inches. In the beginning, thumbs point up, point thumbs down. This is for elbow safety in the beginning. If something goes wrong with the swing, the elbow bends this way. When people become advanced, they will do this with thumbs pointing up the entire time. But for the first maybe 5 years of training, at least, thumbs point back. Get down, weight in the heels, grab the kettlebell in the corner. Drive the shoulders away from the ears to engage the lats, lean back against the bells, push the weights back, swing clean the weight up. From here, push the weight back and then come to a dead stop. Push the weight back, come to a dead stop, stand all the way up. Squeeze the glutes, fire the lats, drive the rib cage down. Go down, clean the weights up. Kettlebells touch together. Get your fingers out of the way. Open shoulders, press up towards the sky, drive the chest in, bring the weights down, keep your fingers out of the way, touch the kettlebells together. Get the kettlebells down. Some people will push back to get the kettlebells down, and some people will drop straight down. Either or works. Get them up, fingers out of the way, double overhead press, bring the weights down, drop straight down, iron body, start the load. Kettlebells up, press overhead, bring the weights down, touch together. Drop, reset, start. Push up, touch, drop, reset, start, press all the way up, touch, drop. This is what slows it down. Getting to this hanging position and then restarting with the legs each time slows the movements down. This dead stop is different than pushing it back each time. When you push it back each time, it's going to move about twice as fast. If we were to push it back each time, do our clean and our press, and push it back, you will notice the rate of movement is much faster. So this dead stop gets us to add this straight leg position into each rep and then restart each time. Make sure you set the kettlebells down with good technique. When you are done, finish by pushing the weights back and then setting them down back out in front. They should end exactly where they started. For the most part, when we pick them up and put them down, we do the swing clean version, which means we push back to load our hips. Then we go into the dead clean version where we figure out how to lock out, restart the movement each time. Push back, and then drift out to set the kettlebells down. Normally when people train kettlebells, this comes for about 95% of the population much later in training. People tend to get a lot more benefit in the beginning from single kettlebell because the thing that most people lack in the modern world is a lot of cross-body stabilization. 100 years ago, this was not a thing that people had. People worked on farms and they picked up and they rotated a lot and they countered rotation a lot by carrying heavy objects. Farmers carries, stone carries, working on tractors. People used to get a lot of natural lifting in their daily life. For the most part in the modern world, we don't have that anymore. Something like barbell is perfectly symmetrical, lifting as much weight as possible, equal amount of weights on the bar, center of mass in the center of the bar, and that weight moves generally straight up and straight down. So if you train in the gym and you do barbells or machines, single kettlebell tends to be the route. Single kettlebell swing program, 10 minutes twice a week, single kettlebell clean and press program until men get towards 32K, until ladies get towards maybe 16 or 20, depending on frame size. Then get-ups, getting up off of the ground with a weight in one hand, all rotation, all stabilization. If you don't go to the gym and you don't do a bunch of symmetrical pressing machines, symmetrical pulling machines, symmetrical barbell, then double kettlebell can take the place of that. Kettlebells are cheap. You buy them one time and they will last longer than you will be alive. They will probably outlast civilization. Double kettlebell clean and press should be the basis of an outside of the gym bodybuilding strategy. Double kettlebell clean and press is the easiest way to work every muscle in your body. There are other versions where we will add in squats to this, and then it becomes pretty much a perfect monster lift, a lift with 3 or more primary movements in it. Usually the double kettlebell double hang clean comes after people have mastered the double kettlebell swing clean and press. This version just causes people to get more time under tension by slowing them down. It allows them to breathe more, allows them to recover while not putting the weight down. Kettlebells are fun, they go on forever. All these little different exercises add up to greater overall knowledge. The more you understand what, why, and how you are training, the better the outcomes that you can get in the long run. Today we are going to talk about the double kettlebell swing clean squat press. Probably the most useful double kettlebell exercise for turning people into monsters in the least amount of time. This exercise falls into the category of monster lift. It is a clean, it is a squat, it is a press. That means it is a deadlift, clean family, all posterior chain. It is a front squat, absolutely no way out for the core. The lower you get, the more vertical your spine, the better. Standing up into a double overhead press. This exercise works every muscle in your body in this plane of movement. If you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, the clean and press is how you build a truly Herculean physique. If you go a step above clean and press, you add the squat. This is how you build a truly Herculean physique. We set up for this exercise by stepping up to our kettlebells. Kettlebells touch together. Handles point straight ahead. We call this perpendicular to the line of our body. Our body is this way. The handles go this way. This allows us, when we set up, to be in optimum position for our elbows and our lat engagement. Straight back from the bells, let's say 12 to 18 inches. Thumbs point towards the sky, thumbs point down. our elbow bends this way. If we're using really heavy weights and something goes wrong, we do not rip our elbows in half. When people become advanced, they may do it thumbs up, but that means that they have enough experience to know that they are not going to rip their elbows in half. If you don't know, go thumb back. Hands go into the crease of the hip, push back. Knees behind the line of the toe. If our knees are driving forward and our heels are lifted, people are going to be quad dominant. With deadlifts, with cleans, we are trying to load the posterior chain of our body, the muscles in the back of our body. That means knees behind the toes and weight generally towards our heels. Thumbs point down, grab the kettlebells in the corner of the bells. Push the weights back, big hike, snap the hips up, catch. Touch the kettlebells together at the top. No bent wrists. Hands should be pointed straight up at the sky, handles down at a 45-degree angle. This is not a barbell grip. This is not a dumbbell grip. This is a kettlebell grip. We did our clean, get down to our squat. Elbow tracks inside the knees. Lift the chest as much as possible. The thing that people are most likely to mess up is this elbow position, touching the inside of the knee. People will put their elbows too close to their body. They will do all kinds of weird things. Think elbows touch the knee so you can drive the knee out, lift your chest up as far as possible. Stand up, overhead press. Kettlebells go behind your body. Kettlebells behind the body, squeeze the glutes at the top. Bring the weights down. This is the rest position. Squeeze the glutes, perfectly straight legs. Reload, swing clean. Push back, thumbs back, catch. All the way down, elbows inside knees, drive out, lift the head up, stand up, press. Bring the weights down, fingers out of the way. Thumbs back, clean. Squat, press, squeeze the glutes, touch, clean. Squat, press, pause. This is the rest. Clean, squat, lean back, press, bring it down. When you set the weights down, push back. Kettlebells start and stop in the exact same place. Stand all the way up. This is a very good and interesting exercise. This is an exercise which can cover almost everything except throwing patterns. The single kettlebell version of this, a kettlebell in one hand, is evil because it's all the ways that the core should build up. The double version is twice as hard, but it also costs twice as much money because you have to have two bells. We're using competition adjustable kettlebells. That means that we can micro load these weights. We can start with a light bell and we can make it a half K heavier every time. Most people will treat this like strength training. Sets of say 3 to 5, 3 sets of 3, 5 sets of 5. If you do not have adjustable kettlebells, then you treat this as strength training in volume cycles. That means if you have fixed weights like they might have at a kettlebell gym, you have double 24s, you would do a set of 5, you would start with 5 sets of 5, and because you cannot micro load the bells, take them up a half a K, they stay the same weight, then the next time you came, you would add a set. You would do, say, 6 sets of 5. Adjustable bells turn this more into a standard kind of Olympic lifting idea, where you can start bumping the weight up each time, but keep the workout time essentially the same. 5 sets of 5 go up in weight, 5 sets of 5 go up in weight. To be clear, if you have an adjustable bell, you treat it more like Olympic lifting. If you have fixed weight, you treat them in the old school kettlebell way, volume cycles. You add volume, not intensity. The reps stay the same so that your form stays good. In the pantheon of training, this comes closer to the end of training. Usually more, we consider this more of an advanced movement. We focus on single kettlebell training, swings for a long time. We focus on single arm clean and press. Then you work on your get-ups, your single arm Turkish get-up, and all the breakdowns of that. There's about 35 of them that I can think of off the top of my head. Then you work on your deck squats, your single kettlebell squats, then your snatch. Then usually people are prepared with their core to go to double kettlebells. If you were some type of really well-trained barbell athlete, then you can go straight to double kettlebells and it'll be fine. What people will work on when they transfer from barbell is getting from the open barbell position into the closed pack position, where you're thinking about bringing your elbows together in front of your body. If you play any type of combat sport, you will recognize this wrap as being the one that you use to keep yourself alive when people are trying to hit you. And you will recognize this movement as being what you might consider a more natural shoulder movement. It doesn't matter what's natural, what's not. People will fight about this forever. What matters is by doing kettlebells, getting your squat lower, leaning back further, people tend to get stronger in ranges of movement that they can't normally access in something like gym training or barbell training. They can probably, most people will squat lower with kettlebells and they will force their core on. Kettlebells solve a ton of problems on accident if you go through all the steps, just like Olympic lifting. If you go into the gym and you just start trying to Olympic snatch 300 pounds, probably doesn't go well. There are a bunch of steps to do these things well. This program, like every program, should be combined with something like heavy club swinging, which builds throwing patterns. Humans are the only thing on the planet that throw. Taking an exercise like this, double swing clean squat press, that's your pure strength, and combining it with throwing pattern breakdown training with load, that's your heavy clubs. Overall, that is an excellent strategy to take people from a lower level of athleticism to a much, much higher level of athleticism.